Welcome back to the Static Crypto Show. I'm your host, Blue Hawk Legend, and today I've got a shitty show lined up for you guys. We're going to go ahead and talk about a Brad Garlinghouse, David Schwartz, and Frank Shapiro interview. There is a lot to this, so it is a little longer than usual. I tried to give you guys some context about what they were talking about and then put the backwards words in there. But backmasking in itself, again, there's decades of research of this. In that decades of research that has popped up, we have been doing this since birth. We have done this subconsciously since birth. That's why people, obviously we have all these senses, correct? We have sight, sound, smell, etc. But we also have this ability. That's why people have that intuition if something feels good or something feels bad. I believe this is another instance of that. This brings about that uneasy feeling or good feeling about something because there's two conversations happening at once: the forward regular conversation and the subconscious conversation. Like I said, there's plenty of proof about backwards audio or anything like that. So again, this is pushed away by mainstream science, and of course anything that is pseudoscience that challenges them, they do not like it. They like to stay in their narrow little path. So anybody who is listening to this right now, you have a major leg up before this gets out to the major crypto community and everybody finds out. I would advise this to use this to your advantage. I won't say how, but I am using this as a confirmation that, yeah, this is really what's going on. This is really what these guys think. And these are the tokens to get. I mean, it's up to you, but you have to kind of be careful because some of them were years ago. But I think long term, I'm thinking, yeah, because these tokens still, were around $1 or $2 or less on a lot of them. But the ones that are popping up in these backwards audio, especially Sui, Solana, I don't think I've heard XRP one damn time. I've heard Metallicus, but I have yet to hear XRP or even the word Ripple in any of these backwards audios, which is pretty astounding. I thought I would at least hear something, but that's how I'm using this. You guys can use this however you want. And again, you have a major leg up. I don't care if it's 20 of you or 1,000 of you. You have a leg up before anybody even finds out about this. So listen carefully. And here we go. We're going to roll the footage.
There's those kinds of challenges. The other problem is that either there's somebody who can consider the it's immoral, there's no actually it's not so it's funny. Consider the it's immoral. There's no actually it's not so it's funny.
That could be interesting.
And therefore becomes some of the things David talked about: interoperability, bridging. These are things that are gonna agents become economic actors. And if they become economic, earliest days, it was so hard to predict how these technologies were going to evolve and
can really streamline that. I think there are going to be other use cases too. I just think it's a little early to figure out where those are going to be.
Do you reckon that AI is going to do next now?
Accelerated. I don't think we're going to be able to write smart contracts with AI directly, but I think we can significantly reduce the amount of human effort required, like all of the basic.
it really has been the promise of crypto from the earliest days. So it's exciting to see kind of it come to fruition. Optimistic about where we are in the evolution of crypto. The largest financial managers. There's no name. There's no name. And in fact, one of the things that maybe we'll talk more about tomorrow, because it's Apex.
The earliest visions that I had for the XRP ledger was public pools of liquidity. Funds not being available when they need them, holidays, banking hours, those types of problems in the zeroing.
And welcome back. So as you guys can see, sometimes I put in some examples. I made them a little longer, their topic, what they were talking about. Even if I put the question in there, but it's kind of hard because it was, 5 minutes ago and I can't put in a whole 5-minute section in there. But when we go into this, you can kind of see the topic of conversation about what David is talking about or what Brad is talking about. That's why I extended it a little bit. You can kind of see where it kind of matches up, but then again, it sometimes. So this isn't all bullshit. This is pretty much right on the money. You see how these guys really feel. If we had a little bit more context in these backwards audio, then it would go from, maybe 70 to 80% of us understanding it to 100%, or maybe even 90%. And we would be right on, boom, right on the money, man. But regardless, we have just enough in these audios to pick and go, oh, there it is, boom, right there, confirmation. But some of them, like dead asset, he doesn't say XRP dead asset or Bitcoin dead asset. He just says dead asset. So you kind of have to go along with the conversation and try to figure out what they're talking about. Now, when he said dead asset, right after he says sailor. He also says sailor, CIA sailor. Is there a connection? I'm not going to say there is or isn't. But I find it very interesting, and I apologize, I'm sick right now. But I find it very interesting that these words are coming out like this. So, Brito is also coming up a lot. Van Eck is also coming up a lot. As I said in the past 1 or 2 videos, Scott Bessent came up. Brad said dead asset, sailor is the name. It's him, Scott Bessent, ate it up, which is what David said, and he said it about 2 minutes after, because there was nothing in between that, like 2 minutes between Scott Bessent and ate it up. But we're going to go ahead and go to the second half of this, and you combine this. Now, I left some of it out. I had to leave like 20% of it out because the video would have been like 10 minutes long of nothing but backwards audio. So the second half of this is even more interesting. You're going to see Gary Gensler's name pop up. So here we go. Let's roll the footage.
We don't necessarily go to the customer and say, here's exactly how this is happening. So I think about it really as sailor. You approach them and say, okay, let's talk about corridors that are priorities. Let's talk about how you're managing liquidity today and how you David made some news earlier this morning. More news that we're going to.
It's like a gender reveal conference. Like,
okay. The name of the Ripple stablecoin be RLUSD. I like to call it Real USD, Ripple USD. We're very excited about this. I also will emphasize, as I've emphasized many times, Trying to use some of these technologies that predated the browser as we know it. I mean, people can't even think about the internet.
Not be able to get to for a while. On ramps and off ramps are critical. Interoperability. Point out that like business outside of the United States is great. I mean, the regulatory challenges are much more tractable. Ripple has licensing in money.
Even it's not just the SEC. The United States kind of current administration with Gary Gensler and
How has it changed, right, in terms of what people might think of it and what it's sort of become today?
I think from the earliest stages, some things have remained constant. Very early on, we decided we weren't. We would acid sailor. We would acid sailor. We would acid sailor.
All right, so we're going to go over these last few words. They were after sailor, disembark, and they're lying. So, sailor, he ate it up. Don't use the name. Lie. And the ones I didn't put in were hurry. Listen to me. There's no way. He ate it up. Sexy. Your loss. The law. That's law. He ate it up. And these are in order and how I didn't put them in there and did put them in there. The ones I did put in there, going back to that. Asset. Ask Gary. He eats. I mean. Sailor. Fucking A from David. Internet. Elon Musk. Suey. And this is probably I don't know how many times we've heard of Elon Musk and Suey one after the other. The internet is what I didn't put in there. Going to David. Burn it all. Brito. The ones I didn't put in there again were Epstein, Suey. The ones I did put in there were money. Buy now. Gary. This year. Vanek. And the last ones I didn't put in there were We'll See from David. Money. Elon Musk. Z-Bombs. Brad, I didn't put in here. Dead Asset. Spirit Bombs, which is kind of weird. Listen to Me. And the ones I did put in there about Brad were Dead Asset and Sailor. And this is what I was talking about, going over that real quick when Brad said Spirit Bombs. That's what I mean. It's coming through subconsciously as unfiltered subconscious thoughts. When he says Spirit Bombs, I'm going, what? So don't push off 100% and doesn't go, oh yeah, right, it's garbage. I think that's a major mistake. Again, I'm not doing this with AI. This is not AI generated. This is me using backwards audio. So this is 100% real. You guys can check out the audio yourself and go, holy shit, this guy is not lying. No, I'm not. So I apologize. I'm sick again. You'll be hearing maybe some coughing and sneezing, but Brad said, Sailor, he ate it up. Don't use the name. Don't know what name he was talking about, but then he says lie after that. When you hear Eli, that's them subconsciously, whatever they're talking about or that thing they just said, lie. That means they're lying. Brad said, asset, ask Gary. He eats. He said that 3 times. Sailor, fucking A. Internet, Elon Musk, Suey. I'm starting to hear Brito a lot also, but this is 3 or 4 times we heard Suey in this audio alone. I'm going to go ahead and buy some Suey. And again, I didn't put in Epstein and Suey. They were kind of spread apart, but a lot of these, through this audio, these words were so tightly packed together, I had to put them in that 15 to 20 second backwards audio. It would be a lot more, believe me, but I had to cut out some of it just because it was so long, and I'm going to keep you guys on here all night. So we have money, buy now. Brad said Gary, this year, Vanek. And we're hearing Vanek come up a lot, but Again, you guys can go over this yourself, and it's just wow, man. You can hear this in these audios, and obviously I'm playing it here, but I just want to let you guys know this is not AI bullshit. This is not garbage. This is real. This is 100%. We'll see. Money, Elon Musk, Z-Bombs. I didn't put that in there. Dead Asset, didn't put it in there. Spirit Bombs, listen to me. Dead Asset, Sailor. I think this is the second or third time he said Dead Asset and Sailor. Obviously, XRP wasn't brought in. He said Dead Asset, Sailor here, and he said it in the second half, I believe, also. Yeah, he did. So, going about that, we heard Dead Asset also in the past ones, and I was a little bit confused if he was talking about XRP or Bitcoin, but I'm starting to lean more towards Bitcoin. Just all the evidence, let alone, like I said, the research that we have now about Bitcoin, that you guys know the pros and cons of Bitcoin. You guys know the pros and cons of XRP. Obviously, XRP is better by far. I don't care what anybody says. It's just the truth. You can't deny it. You could try to all you want. You could try to be a hater or a fudder or whatever. It doesn't matter. The proof is the proof. It's out there now. Everybody knows. Ripple's got, what, 300 to 500 partners now. What does Bitcoin have? 0. That's just the partners, let alone the energy efficiency, the speed, the scalability. Oh, yeah, right, XRP. None of these tokens have scaled to like 1,500 transactions per second, maybe even a little higher than that, just because we haven't had mass adoption yet. I mean, that's common sense. So no, anybody saying, well, it can't scale to a trillion. Look, man, then don't buy it. I don't understand why you're on here complaining, going, I've stopped all that. I'm not wasting my time. If you want to buy a shitty asset like Bitcoin, go for it. I'll buy XRP, and guess what? In 5 years, we'll see who wins. Maybe Bitcoin will go up to 1 million, but eventually, I guarantee it's going to crash down. It's inefficient. It's only for wealthy people and institutions right now. How are they going to use it? It's slower than gold. You can move gold faster than you can move Bitcoin. That's pretty fucking sad. So, without any further of me going on and on and on, you guys can listen to this again. I have another one coming out about the IMF I have to knock out, and I might do one more David Schwartz, but I'm starting to spread out now. I would do a very wealthy family backwards audio, but that might get me banned on YouTube. So I might save that for a Patreon or member exclusive, something like that, because I don't want YouTube to ban me for that if I start bringing up these royal families and things like that. So, and I've found some very interesting things on that. I'll just say that. So until the next show, thanks you guys for watching.